everybody, Matthew Allen here with AdjusterTV.com, and today I want to show you guys a really cool trick for creating really nice, professional, clean-looking, hand-drawn roof diagrams. Roof diagrams? Why would I want to do a hand-drawn roof diagram when I've got Eagle View and I can use Sketch? The number one reason why I will do a hand-drawn diagram and make it nice and neat is because mainly so that you have an accurate diagram from which to build your Xactimate sketch from. Number two, in case you're not required to do an Xactimate sketch, you can still build an extremely accurate hand-drawn diagram that you can upload to the file and build your estimate from that. And it actually saves a little bit of time in some cases because you don't have to have the extra step of building the sketch in Xactimate when you've already got your diagram made. Number three, if your company isn't including an Eagle View with the file and it doesn't make sense to buy one because the roof is really simple. And number four, Eagle Views are not available on every single roof out there. And on a lot of them, they're actually incomplete. So no matter what, you have to have an accurate diagram of that roof. And the only way to do it is to draw it yourself. And a side note about Eagle View diagrams, you have to double check some of the measurements, and you absolutely have to double check the pitch, because if the pitch is off, the dimensions of that roof will be inaccurate. So how do we do this? Well, we just connect the dots. Okay, let's jump right in. So we're going to start with a straight gable, and I'm not using these the squares to measure anything, so this, they don't represent 2 feet or a foot or whatever. They're just basically there so that I get everything kind of relatively sized to each other so that it looks, one thing is bigger than another thing or longer than another thing. It is relatively represented in my diagram. I've been using graph paper since I started doing this, and I can't imagine doing it any other way. I have a little shorthand for roof accessories, like turtle vents, little squares. A pipe jack boot is a circle with a dot in it. And if they happen to be lead, I'll put PB, which is, lead, the elemental symbol for lead. Furnace vent caps are circles. A smaller one is like a 5 or 6 inch one, and a bigger one is a bigger one. And then chimneys, I have as a large chimney would look like that. This is for my Xactimate, estimate. A small one's going to look like that. It's a square rectangle with an X in it. And then a satellite dish is sat with the word circled. If there's ridge vent, there's probably not going to be turtle vents. I'll do like kind of a bracket like this to represent ridge vent. If they have a power vent cover, I'll have a circle with PAV written in it. And if they have turbine vents, well, I've got a symbol that looks like that. So obviously this roof one roof isn't going to have all these things on it, although occasionally you will see that. But most of the time they'll have one type of vent. So that's a straight gable. Let's put some measurements on here so that we know what to put in the estimate. And there you go, pretty straightforward. If you want to put the direction on there if you're required, north is that way. Now let's do a hip. Same deal, making a dot. I'm basically counting over in such a way that I don't leave myself trying to make something where there isn't a line on the grid. So I'm always marking where the center, like here's the corner of the house, here's the center where the ridge is going to be, and then I make sure I count the same number of squares down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here. And then this wants to go at a 45-degree angle to meet this line for our hip, and then count over an appropriate number. And there's your hip. Pretty cool. Always want to mark which side's the front, and I always make the front down, always. do some more, a little more complicated one. This is a pretty common roof. You can see there, I messed up and I made this the wrong distance so that I have to make a line where there's no grid line, so I don't have anything to go off of. Pretty typical roof right there. On hips, I always make sure I get the rafter length for all the main slopes, because sometimes they're different on these, because even though the eave edge is the same, if this one is steeper, this number will be lower because it'll be less distance. And your measurements will be off if you just get this one rafter length and don't get that one and it's like 16, then you're going to be paying too much. You're going to get an overwrite on it. We'll do one more here real quick. And this one's going to be mixing together this whole thing. One of those like half gable, half hips. Pretty straightforward. So you got a little gable back here, a gable here, and then hip on this end and a hip on this end. Okay, that's all for this video. Be sure to say hi in the comments below, and definitely head over to adjustertv.com, where I've got a whole lot more free resources for the independent property CAD adjuster. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching, and have a great storm.